Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good night, and welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And we're excited to be here.
Listen, thanks for checking in.
Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And G, give it to me. We are back for another episode.
Yes.
Listen, Tom Wright.
Tom Wright, ladies and gentlemen.
Veteran actor.
Listen, he has many, many, many credits to his
goodness
on his list of talents. Man.
When you see his face,
yeah,
everyone goes, "Oh, I know this guy."
That's right.
I mean, very talented. Over 40 years in the industry. Over.
Yeah. No, this is going to be one of those great interviews. Man.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
so am I. So am I.
When he said, "Yeah, I would love to be on this podcast." Gee, I called you a meeting and said, "Gee, this guy, do you remember Tom Wright?"
Yeah, man.
Oh,
and so I remembered him, but then I went back and looked. He really does, just like what you said. His list of accolades and accomplishments are enormous.
And his improvs and movies just blow me away.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, G.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun.
You know I'm always down for some fun, Teef.
So, G,
yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to go which way? Left, right, left?
I don't know.
Okay. I got some questions for you.
All right. What we got?
I'm going to say an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'm going to save that one. Give me your top 5 of all time. Top 5 groups in any genre.
Okay. All right. I can do that. I can do that. Watch me, y'all. You know, he always be counting me down. I'm going to do this fast. All right. New Edition, Arthur Rip. Love them. Earth, Wind and Fire.
Ooh.
Love them.
Mm-hmm.
Stokely, his group is called,
Mint Condition.
Mint Condition.
Boom.
Love them. They're amazing. Okay. I love Queen. I love the music. I love the music from Queen. That to me is great. And this is another one of my favorites. And I love the Bee Gees. Shoot me.
Oh, yeah, come on, G.
I love the Bee Gees. I can't pass up the Bee Gees when they come through. Look how fast. Listen, can we be really proud of me in this moment?
I'm very proud of you.
Look how fast I did that.
Gigi's
I'm
funny.
really proud. All right, your turn. Your turn, T.
Give it to me.
Top 5.
All right, top 5. New Edition.
There we go. Okay. Share that.
Oh, man. Now I got to slow down here.
Mm-hmm. I went fast, so you got time.
You blew my mind. New Edition, I would say SWV.
Oh, SWV. Absolutely.
Who am I forgetting?
Got 3 more. Oh, I get to do it. Come on, Teef.
EPMD. Oh, absolutely. EPMD.
All right.
Oh, just think of high school and college. Guy. Love Guy. So you got New Edition, Guy, EPMD.
Jam. All right.
SWV. And my 5th would be...
Got one more. Yeah, one more, Teef.
Forever My Lady. Jodeci.
Very good.
For me, 5 good ones that I really know their music.
Yeah, that's real good. That's real good.
G, you ready? Here we go. I hope you guys are ready. You ready?
Let's go.
Here we go. Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And G, look who we have on the screen.
Oh, my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, one extremely veteran actor, Mr. Tom Wright. Tom, welcome to the show.
Hello there.
Hello there.
We're excited to have you. So excited. First of all, thank you for being a guest on our show. G, you excited?
Yes, I'm so excited. So honored.
Right now, he has the #1 movie in America right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the #1 movie. You want to tell us what that is?
Well, it's actually a TV series on Amazon. It's called Daisy Jones and the Six.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
#1.
You play like a producer, right? You're
Yeah, I play a record producer. Essentially, the series is about a rock and roll band who's attempting to make it in the LA music scene in the 70s. And I play a character named Teddy Price, who's I sort of pulled a lot of inspiration from Quincy Jones for the character.
Oh, nice to know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go through the process because I'm very excited. You've been in this industry for over 40 years, easily. When you and I spoke on the phone, I told you I'm a huge fan. I mean, you've been in so many of my favorite movies. He's been in Murder at 1600, Barbershop. I can't even name them all. So many different movies.
What is the Steven Seagal one?
Steven Seagal,
Marked for Death.
Marked for Death.
Look at that. I mean, everyone knows the face. Everyone knows the face.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I want to start from the beginning. So tell us where you're from. Siblings, background, family history.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Englewood, New Jersey.
Okay.
So I used to say back in the day that I was from New York, and everyone would say, well, where in New York? And I'd have to say, well, actually, New Jersey.
Yeah.
But the truth is Queen Latifah turned me around about that because I heard her one day on Yo MTV Rap say, someone said, "Are you from New York?" She says, "No, hell no, I'm from Jersey."
She reps hard. Yeah.
There you
And
go.
that's when I turned around. So now I'm proud to say that I'm from Englewood, New
There
Jersey.
you go.
My family is a long time. They've been long time residents of New Jersey. And I'm very proud to be totally East Coast, living on the West Coast.
That's right. East
There you
Coast.
go. That's a lot of celebrities live from
I
the East
know,
Coast living
out there
on the West Coast now.
on the West Coast. How long have you been out there?
I've been here about 30 years, by a little over 30 years.
Oh wow.
I spent 15 years. I spent six years outside of Philadelphia, 15 years in New York, and then 30 years out here.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So Tom, in high school, did you act? Did you do some acting in high school?
No, I was an athlete, and sports was my number one focus. And even when I uh, got to college, I played sports for 2 years, and then I dropped out of college. Well, that's a long story,
Okay.
but I left school without having any idea of what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I knocked around for a couple of years, and did a lot of odd jobs. And a friend of mine one night, we were in the bar, and he's a theater director, and he said to me, he says, "You don't know it, but you're an actor."
Mm.
And I was like, "Man, get the hell out of here!
What are you talking about?
I ain't no damn actor."
Uh-huh.
He said, "No." He said, "You're an actor, and I'm going to prove it to you." I said, "All right, yeah. How you going to do that?" And he said, "I'm going to put you in a play, and it's a play I'm directing at Cheney State, outside of Philly, and you'll see." And sure enough, the first night I stepped on stage and got in front of an audience and started to do my thing,
Yeah.
it was like the heavens opened up and
Wow.
divine light shone down, and I was like, "This is where I belong.
This
This
is
is
it.
me."
This is it. How old are
And
you around that time?
I was like 21,
Nice age to
you
find
know.
yourself.
Now,
So
what year was that?
that was 1974.
74. Okay, wow, it was different back then.
And from that moment on, I never turned around. I
Yeah.
knew that's who I belonged to be. That's who I was. And so from that point on, it was just a matter of discovery and execution.
Let me ask you, did your friend know this about you, or did he just need somebody to fill that role and it worked out? What do you think?
No, he had insight. He
Yeah.
saw something that I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he had the instinct, and he was absolutely correct. His name is Larry Moses. He passed a few years ago, but he's the person behind how I got started.
Wow. That is a
Wow.
beautiful story.
Now, so after this play, what's the next process? Does he tell you look for representation? Was it like that in the 70s, or what happened? How did you start picking up momentum?
Well, for one thing, there were a lot fewer avenues for you to pursue your craft,
Okay.
in terms of like visual media, film and TV. So everybody who started out in the 70s started out in theater.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to be invited to be one of the founding members of a theater company called People's Light and Theater. They were in Westchester at the time, Westchester, Pennsylvania. And they asked me to join the company, and I did 15 plays in 2 years without ever taking an acting lesson.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was hardcore about it. But I realized that I had all of this practical knowledge. I mean, the truth is that most of the cast would go home after a rehearsal, let's say on a Monday, and Tuesday they'd come in, and their performances were always like markedly better. And all I could do was take the script home, lay it on my bed, and look at it. I had no idea what to do with it.
How to make it better. Yeah.
So I was going on basic instinct, and I realized that I really needed some theoretical underpinning to this practical experience that I had.
Okay.
So I moved to New York in 1976 with $150 in my pocket and a dream.
Now, even back then, that's not enough money.
No, I was woefully short.
And who was your first acting coach? And how did you find your acting coach?
I had no idea, where to go or what to do. So I got out. There was a magazine called Backstage, and I looked in the back of Backstage and just looked up who had the biggest ad, for classes. And it was HB Studio, Herbert Berghoff Studio, down on Bank Street in the Village.
Wow.
So I went down and I studied with Carol Rosenfeld for a while, and then I studied with Bill Hickey. But it wasn't really my cup of tea. I had all this practical experience, but acting, there's a lot of theory involved, and there are several different schools of proficiency, and having had all of this practical knowledge, I had to really search for a while to find the theoretical formula that would work for what I knew, what I could do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wound up at the neighborhood playhouse studying with Wynn Hammond, and the rest is kind of history.
Wow. So that first phone call comes in regards to getting casted. What does that look like in a TV
You mean
show?
when I got my first,
like for film, I
for,
guess.
for TV and film, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You mean my first job,
Yes.
or well, like I told you, I was a dummy. I had no understanding of the theater world, television or film. I was just sort of hacking my way through the undergrowth, just basically using instinct to guide me. And I was doing a scene I had a scene partner for this class at HB Studio, and we were rehearsing in his apartment in the Village. And he said, "Hey, can we stop for just 10 minutes?" I was like, "Sure." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, because I'm going to be an extra, a background player on All My Children." I said, "You what?" He said, "Yeah." And he said, they pay you $75 a day. I said, "They pay what?" $75 a day to stand around in the background.
I'll do it.
So I got to see that.
Sign me up.
So he flipped it on, and sure enough, there he was in the hospital background, walking back and forth. And I said, because I didn't realize that you could make money.
Wow.
I was totally involved in the theater.
Yeah.
Where if you got some transportation money and a check for $50 at the end of an 8-week run, you were doing pretty well. So I mean, ironically, one of the best gigs that I had while I was in New York was on All My Children, playing Jesse Hubbard, and playing Jesse Hubbard's older brother, Eugene.
All My Children. Wow.
Now, how long were you on that show?
But you're asking, about a year and a half.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wow.
Yeah, this was back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. So was that a pleasant transition from stage acting to film acting, beyond the getting to be in the background? Did you find it enjoyable as you did the stage acting?
Well, at first, the thing about the theater is, for a stage actor, is that once the curtain goes up, there's no retakes. So you are in control of your performance. You have to be your own best advocate. And how you approach that it depends upon individual style, ability, and training. But when you step in front of the camera, all of a sudden you have this impartial observer that is recording every single minute facial expression, vocal inflection, movement, it is capturing you as a character for in perpetuity. It'll always be there somewhere in the universe,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that can be very intimidating for a theater actor,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually enjoy doing extra work, and I did extra work in New York for a couple of years because it gave me the opportunity to watch,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
so I could
Yeah.
absorb.
Yeah.
So I could understand that. Oh, okay, I see. So if you are tense, the camera will see it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're relaxed, the camera will see it. And how to move and how to draw people into your performance as opposed to putting it out over the footlights as you would do in theater. All those
Mm.
things I kind of learned
Being an
uh,
extra.
while being a background
Wow.
player.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you got casted in your uh, All My Children. Was that on your own, or did you have representation?
Oh,
Like,
I did. I had representation.
okay,
I
Mm-hmm.
okay,
I
Mm-hmm.
I, I started out like auditioning for commercials.
okay.
That was the first thing because there were a ton of commercials shot in New York in the '70s. So I had a commercial agent, which the way that I got a theatrical agent, which covers theater,
Hmm.
film, and TV, was a friend of mine and I produced our own showcase, and we did three different scenes from three different plays, and invited agents and managers to come, and I got an agent through that method.
Wow.
Now, was that typical or was that something innovative that you all had come up with, or were other actors doing that?
I don't know
Yeah.
about other people's experience at the time. I think a lot of people were getting seen in prominent plays,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they were getting representation.
Right.
I didn't feel like I could wait around
Yeah. Yeah.
to get cast in a prominent play. So we came up with this idea
Let me show
of
you what a play looks like
self-showcasing,
with me in it.
and
Look, here it is. Yeah.
yeah, you just cut and paste.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
So, Tom, one of my favorite with you, we spoke about it. Murder at 1600. How did that look like in regards to working on that set with Wesley Snipes? I mean, at that time, you're a veteran yourself, but
Oh, well, I mean, Wes might deny this, but or maybe again he won't. But Wes, I've known him since he was like 20, 21 years old.
Wow.
And when he wasn't Wesley Snipes, and he was the most eager, hungry to learn, committed young actor, that one of the few in New York who would bounce from set to set just to stand around and watch and see
Mm-hmm.
how he wouldn't even be working,
Mm-hmm.
but he would stand around and ask questions, and so I've known Wes a long time.
mm,
He's so getting a chance to actually work with him was sort of a full circle experience,
okay,
because by the time he and I worked together, he was a star,
right.
and he was a well seasoned actor who understood the craft for himself. So it was a real pleasure to work with him. It
Mm.
was nice to sort of connect that
Mm-hmm.
that that background.
And so when you guys went on set, did he already know you got casted? And I mean, because he was
Oh
starring
yeah,
in.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. He knew.
Wow.
Um, but like Wes, you know, we had kind of a fun thing. I did a play with Woody Harrelson years ago in a theater in Hollywood, and there was this, and Wes came to see the play, and there was a moment in the play in which Woody's character is trying to get a job, so he takes out a typewriter and a piece of paper, and he puts the paper in the typewriter and types up this this
Mm-hmm.
this letter. And this one night, the same night that Wesley happened to be there, Woody couldn't get the paper in the typewriter,
Yeah.
and he started to freak out. He started to struggle, and I just stood there and looked at him. I said, "Ah." White Men Can't Type.
Oh, no. This is on
And
stage. This is during the
Wesley,
performance.
we were on stage, and Woody's face got red. You could hear Wesley laughing all the way from the back.
You got to do
He's
something,
got,
right? In that moment, that paper
uh,
won't load. That is funny.
Wow. Wow. I think his thing is freezing up.
Oh no,
There you go.
yeah. Oh,
There you
you
go.
froze for just
Okay.
a second. We're so glad we still have you there. So you've done big screen and small screen stuff,
okay,
right? Can you hear us all right?
right.
Okay. You've
Yep,
done
I got you.
some stuff on the big screen and on the small screen. Is there a preference that you had? I know nowadays series are the way to go. It's a way to develop character. You get to stay with somebody over a season. What is your favorite? Big screen or
You
small
know,
screen?
I love them both.
Yeah.
To me, it's all about the quality of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If there's sometimes you find beautiful stories on big screen,
Mm-hmm.
and working on the big screen, telling a beautiful story is an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same can be said for small screen. If it's a great story and
Yeah.
it's being really well told, it can be a beautiful, wonderful experience. And bad stories, I don't give a damn which one it's on. It
Yeah.
it 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 it's not that pleasant to do a poor story
Right.
in either medium. It's not like either medium can make up for
Right.
bad story.
Yeah. And as a
So for
consumer,
me,
I don't want to see it. So,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah, you don't want
but
to act it. Mm-hmm.
I will say in some respects the small screen does get the edge
Mm.
for two reasons.
Yeah.
Um, One, television used to be basically episodic. Every week was a different story with the same people,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and that has its merits. But TV has evolved beyond that. I call it the novelization of television, where you tell a story in episode one, and that story continues through two, three, four,
Mm-hmm.
five, six, 7, 8. So you can build a
Yeah.
character. You can really get nuanced
Mm-hmm.
with telling the story of a character. Whereas in film has digressed in a certain sense to being based on the 3 act structure.
Mm-hmm.
Not to bore anybody, but film it nowadays, 95% of the movies you see have an action that happens, a certain amount of action at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
call it an inciting incident. Then by page 30, which is like roughly a half an hour, is the first turn of events.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a long second act in which the characters kind of go like
Have
this.
their
And then
arc.
all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, there's a big problem that makes it appear as though, it's insolvable.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third act is the resolution of that problem, and it happens in like 15 minutes. That structure is what we have all become accustomed to in terms of watching film. And I think film has a lot more potential in telling stories in different ways than having to be based on a 3 act structure.
Right.
That's a long-winded answer, but
No,
that's
not
how.
at all. I appreciate the depth that you go into that, because I think that TV and the way the route of series and these extended opportunities to develop character maybe will force film to do something other than the 3 acts, a story in 3 acts, because it's just so much more entertaining right now for, I think, viewers to see the long arc of multiple characters that happens through TV. So I
Right.
love that you said that. Yeah.
And isn't it true that you can sit down, watch a movie, and kind of know what's going to happen and know
Yeah.
what's going to happen when?
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
can there's a rhythm to the
Yeah.
3 act
Mm-hmm.
structure that we have been inundated with
Yeah.
since almost time immemorial. And you know, I just think there are newer, better, not there's a potential for more innovative ways to tell a story than
Yeah.
just to give you this rhythm that you've seen since you were watching Woody Woodpecker cartoons.
Right. So
So
would you write? Oh, I'm sorry, Teef. Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, since you see this new way of looking at it, would you consider writing? Is that something that we might look forward from you?
I have written and I'm not that good at it. You know,
Gotcha.
I mean, I've had some stories I've wanted to tell. I am not the type of performer who needs to feed his ego by wearing 13 different hats. I don't need to write, produce, act,
Mm-hmm.
do the cinematography, do the sound, do the music,
Right,
do the
right.
costumes, do the makeup. I don't need to do like all. I just need to do one thing well
Give me my scripts.
because there are other people.
Hmm.
Hire and gather a family of people around you that you can collaborate with,
Yeah.
who are as good as you are, if not better than you, at their job specificity, and then let's roll.
Well said. Well said.
So I want to ask questions in regards to barbershop. You was on barbershop. That's comedy. Working with Ice Cube.
Right.
Tell us that story. How was that?
Oh, that was one of the more pleasant jobs I've had, and I will say that um, I was really I was really taken away with just how cool, how professional, and how quickly he understood the medium and the job
Mm.
of being an actor, and that's Ice Cube. But
Yeah.
he was a real pleasure. He was very quiet, very low key, but very he paid attention to the details
Yeah.
of what it would take to make his performance shine.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. I mean, the only thing that wasn't fun was, it was 6 degrees in Chicago when we shot. So,
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun for me. Some people think that's fun. I'm
Now,
not one of
but it
them.
was fun because, how are you not going to have fun with Cedric the
I was just
Entertainer?
about to say.
Yeah,
I was
no, yo,
just
the
about to say
cast is
that.
amazing. Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
laugh a
You know,
lot? Did you laugh a lot on set?
oh man, Cedric would just have, there are so many outtakes of Cedric improvs, he would just have people, falling out
I can imagine.
laughing. So that was a really great experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you said you talked about Cedric improvs. First thing I said to you is your improvs are amazing. Like, do they give you a lot of room to improvs on all your TV shows and movies?
Not really. I get to improv occasionally.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I'm sort of old school
Mhm.
in that the writers, if they're good,
Okay.
because not every writer, not every script that you do, and God knows over the out of the 200 plus screen credits I have, there's quite a few turkeys.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I had to make a living and got family to support, so you do what
Absolutely.
you need to do.
Wow.
Um, but I'm going to try and bring the writers' words to life because they've thought about things.
Mhm.
They hopefully they have infused themselves into this character that I'm playing enough to so that the words are grounded in reality. The
Mhm.
words are grounded in the circumstance.
Mhm.
The words are grounded in the relationship between that character and whoever it is they happen to be speaking with. So I pay attention to that.
Hmm.
Now, if it doesn't work, I might throw a few things in here, and every now and then you throw a couple things that loosen things up. The most fun I've had as an actor improvising was on a film called Key Man. It's a real low budget film. I shot it with Adam Baldwin
Hmm.
about 20, 22, 23 years ago. And we play homeless guys and homeless people together in,
Mhm.
in, in Texas. And I played this character named Popeye. And for some reason, Popeye knew what he was doing better than the writers did.
I guess that happens. Yeah.
So he just said he has over 200 credits.
Yeah.
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 200.
I've Googled him.
I mean, a 40-year career. in
Yes.
this acting industry is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know everyone. You've acted with the biggest names. You've even seen them start at the beginning, like you said with Wesley Snipes. How does that feel for you? Like, I mean, not to toot your horn, but I mean, that's amazing.
I tend to look forward. And every now and then I look back,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I tend to always think of myself as the new kid on the block, to be honest with you.
Nice.
And every now and then, like on Daisy Jones, because I had had more experience than a lot of people, I did feel a little bit like the sage old man,
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
but by and large, when I do tend to reflect, um, there's a lot that I'm proud of.
Mm,
What people don't see are the disappointments. What people don't see are the near misses,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
where you're the number two choice on something that turns
Mm.
out to be a Golden Globe or Oscar worthy film or TV show.
Right.
And I think the thing that has allowed me to to continue to work consistently is I never really cared that much about the money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I never really cared that much about the fame. What I cared about was consistency,
mm,
Yeah.
was working consistently. And there's one thing I want to share really about a couple of the things that I've learned, and that I always want to pass on to younger actors. And the first thing is a lot of people talk about confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You well, I'm confident. All I got to do is walk in the room and be confident, and I'm going to get the job. No, that's not the gig.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is not for you to walk in with confidence. You have to have that just to do what you're doing. The job is to make the people in the room feel more confident about themselves.
Mm.
mm.
That's how you work.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you can walk into a room full of producers and writers and people, casting people who have want to hire you and hold you a bit of your future in the palm of their hands. If you can make them feel more confident about themselves because they are going to hire you, you will
Mm-hmm.
have a job.
That is brilliant.
It's
That's a piece
powerful,
of advice. I
powerful
hope these
advice.
would-be actors are listening. We haven't had or heard that advice
That was
from
great,
many
G.
of our guests yet. Yeah.
Wow. So I don't know if you want to dive into this, but I want to ask. You said you missed out on a few Oscar
Or
films
Golden
or Golden
Globe.
Globes.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to share some of those that you were runner up to? Number two?
Not really.
Okay, okay, okay.
Just
I had to try.
people just need to understand that, and this is another young thing that actors need to figure out sooner than later. And a friend of mine put it really well. He said, in Hollywood, it's not the rejection that'll kill you; it's the hope.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
That's heavy. That's
So
heavy.
get used to the rejection, because
Mm.
that's
That's just a
not
part and
what
parcel. Mm-hmm.
that's not what hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a flesh wound.
Mm-hmm.
What hurts is when you have hope, a lot of hope, and nothing happens the way you want it to.
Mm. Yeah.
That's where you cut cut the men from the boys.
Right.
wow.
And this is advice for life. I mean, you can relegate this to theater and
Boom.
acting if you want to, but this is advice for life. I hope folks are taking that to heart. Let me ask a question, if you will. You talked about being the type of person that looks forward. So what are you looking forward to these days?
Retirement. No, I'm just kidding.
Only a little bit.
uh, what I'm looking forward to is my metaphor for my journey. and where I happen to be right now is that I equate myself to the pygmy bushman who for 40, 45, almost 50 years has been stalking with a little bow and arrow the warthog through the grassy plains of the Serengeti or wherever, trying to get that meal for his family. And rather than do that, I'm at the point now where I have a lawn chair and I pop it in front of my hut and I sit down and cross my legs with my bow and arrow and I wait for the sucker to walk by.
I love it. I love it. I
It's
love
a
it.
nice place to be. It's a nice place to be.
So that's that. I'm looking. I mean, because to be honest with you, it's the chase that kind of that wears thin when you reach senior citizenhood. You know, when you're young, you'll chase anything. You'll chase down that job. Like Wesley used to do. Wesley used to, just show up because they were shooting something on down in Times Square. It's because he wanted to be around it. He wanted to learn it. So he was chasing. You hit like a certain age, and the chase doesn't really
doesn't have the same
what you
allure.
want to be doing.
Wow. Tom, listen, G, this has been an amazing interview.
It really has been.
I'm so honored that you wanted to be on the podcast. I was like a huge fan. When I saw your number, I told you on the cell phone, I had to tell my, this is Tom. I mean, so excited. I'm a huge fan of yours. I was excited to tell Gigi about it.
Yes.
We're going to have you back, Tom. But before we end, we have 3 important questions to ask you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So really, I want you to give me your top 3 podcasts that you subscribe to, listen to, enjoy. Your top 3 podcasts.
Well, there's Teef and Gigi.
There we go.
And Teef and Gigi.
No coaching warranted. I love it. Yes, sir.
You know why? I kind of said that I'm a senior citizen. So podcasting, I don't even have a podcast on my phone.
Well, you have one now.
I do.
There you go. You go to Spotify, Apple. You got us.
I have no podcast in my queue.
Wow. So we just number 1, and that's it. We love that.
You're 1, 2, and 3.
There you go.
I love it.
We'll take it. So this is open dialogue. Tom, please tell us what you got going on so we know the movie you're in. You could feel free to say that again.
The series.
The series. I'm sorry. The series. Any books you're writing? What's going on with you? Tell us anything.
There's several things. One is, of course, Daisy Jones and the Six, which can be found on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
I'm doing a film called Summer Camp. It's with Kathy Bates and Dennis Haysbert and Diane Keaton, and I'm playing Alfred Woodard's husband.
Whoa, this is an amazing cast.
Yeah, shooting that in North Carolina actually later this week. There's a film called The Book of Charlie that I'm sort of slated to direct. I did direct a film that I would love everybody to try and see. It's called Walk Away Joe. It's on Prime Video.
All right.
It stars David Strathairn and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. If you know of another gig coming down the road, let me know.
All right. We'll keep our eyes and ears peeled.
Tom, on behalf of Jazzy Conversations, I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
Tom, have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks for being on the show. Oh, gee.
I didn't get to, as with all our guests, I didn't get to ask half the things I want to ask. All right.
He's amazing.
He really has a litany of
over 200 credits on his IMDb page. That's amazing in this industry. That means you've got called in that many times that they wanted you.
And such a humble, grounded individual.
And his face is very well known.
Yeah.
You see his face, you go, I know who that is.
Those eyebrows, right? They're quite distinguished.
I was so excited to have him.
Yes.
Gee.
Yeah.
The end of another episode.
The end of another episode.
Ready for next week?
I am always ready. I can't wait. Listen.
On behalf of Jazzy Conversations, I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
Have a great night, guys. Take care.